Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarappel, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod. Turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Whoop-de-doo, folks, and it's another week of the No Name Brand Podcast. How are you today? Have you dropped us a line to share with us your favorite episode so far? podcast@brandsashka.com. Go on, I know you want to do it. And have you heard that the podcast is now available on Spotify? Bam! How awesome is that? Love it! So, in this week's episode, I'm doing a great interview with a coach. Now, before you all roll your eyes and think, oh, another coach, let me swoon over a little. She's your modern-day Cinderella, a hardworking girl, humble and seeking to live a life of just happiness. You know, the things that assist in your happiness. Love, family, money, making an impact on the world. You know, nothing biggie, just simple things. And as we know, with the Cinderella story, there was a bit of injustice that happened in her life, much the same as our next guest. She was never good enough in the eyes of her father. No matter what good grade she brought home, it just wasn't good enough. She taught herself English, and she felt it wasn't good enough for the world to make an impact. She sold her house to fly to Australia from England to become a master NLP trainer. And then the hit the fan. She started her own NLP accreditation business, partnered with a guy that stole her business from under her, leaving her broken at crossroads again. But our modern day Cinderella rose from all of that. Folks, she did something that many of us visionaries forget to do. Believe in yourself. Not so much in the thing you're doing, your career, but in yourself. And then believing that you're good enough, worthy enough, ready enough. At the moment, there is no stopping this power woman. She is determined to grow her business further and positively influence millions of people, one person and a group at a time. And we are starting here today on the show with you. So without further ado, let's get this party started with the one and the only LENKA LUTONSKA. Hello, LENKA.
Hello, everyone. Sashka, can I put you in my pocket and have you introduce me every time?
It's so much fun doing introductions. They're my favorite part of the podcast. I love doing all the research and creating a story. It's so much fun.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I'm going to steal that from you.
Cool, no worries. I like that copyright. Yes. So, LENKA, you're in the business of teaching women coaches to get fully booked in their businesses, not only through business strategy, but also giving them the tools to use, for example, NLP accreditation, the Get Fully Booked Academy. And just recently, you created your mastermind and your signature program, Energetic Selling Method. Now, first off, share with us why you created Energetic Selling Method. What is this and what's it going to help coaches with? And another question, how did you come to the signature method? Did it just fall out of the sky?
No, it did not. It did not.
Hallelujah, there's hope.
Hallelujah. It happened quite recently. One of my recent coaches, we were putting a story together for a potentially viral video. And she would question me a lot, right? One of the questions she asked, well, how did you do it? How did you grow your business so fast? Well, it happened the second time once I went online and I got my shit together. The business grew really fast. And how do your clients get a great client? Well, went online, experienced my first 20K month, 3 months on, which was like, wow. And then first 6 figures in 6 months. And the second year, $500,000 a business and just growing it from there. Okay. So it's pretty fast. One of my clients, great results as well. So she was questioning me a lot. How did you do it? So I just explained what I do. One of the big things as part of that is, of course, using energy in the way you grow your business and sell your services, because you mentioned in a lovely Cinderella introduction, when I lost that first business, it really sent me on a 2 years of bloody headache, when I could not for the world rebuild that business. It was really hard. But what it did, it reconnected with my spiritual nature. That's what it forced me to do, to de-identify myself from any form of external success and connect with that incredible power and peace within us, and take all the attention to how I want to serve, not me, my needs, my ego. So the whole energy piece, when it's combined with the strategy, is incredibly powerful. So in a way, we pointed out 4 quadrants that I believe need to be mastered, and people who are willing to put themselves on that journey to walk through those 4 quadrants, it's like a pilgrimage of the soul, then they can make quantum leaps in their business really fast. This is how it came about.
That's amazing. So, and you use the system yourself in your business.
Yeah.
You've just put a name to it now.
Yeah.
So there are different business and emotional phases that we go through when running a business. Like, in a nutshell, I like to say we go from a small startup idea to a small business to running a small business. We might just have the idea and then we open a business and it's small business, but we're not really running it.
Right.
The mentality that having a small business usually lets most business owners think that they can't play big. For example, running advertising campaigns and earning a profit and return on investment over the year. They're thinking small, and we've all been in those phases, all of us. And looking back to then and where you are now, share with us your most engaging and pivotal moments that took you from small thinking to running your big vision now, to going, just because it's in inverted commas, small business doesn't mean it's a small business. It can actually be really huge.
Gotcha. I tell you what, every pivotal moment in my case, I think it came with a moment when I was pissed off with myself.
I like those moments, yes.
Well, you already know that at one point when my business was like super small, to the point that I couldn't afford to pay the bills, and I found that bloody hell, I can't afford a family dinner. I've got £7.30 in my bank account. I was so pissed off with myself. How the hell did I get here? That what it forced me to do is essentially commit. That's a big thing, to commit and get on that phone and call people who expressed interest in my services and sell, rather than making excuses. Oh, but whoever wants to work, really wants to work with me, they'll come to me. It just doesn't work like that. So I committed more to the business and to business growth than to my comfortableness, staying in my little cocoon. So on another occasions, and it's interesting when you're talking about, the pivotal moments, I can pinpoint quite a few of them in any stage of my business, even recently. And it's every time some sort of recognition and a little bit of, I'm pissed off with myself. Bloody hell, I'm still playing small. I remember a couple of years ago, my business was already doing decently. I had a coaching client and we took a picture together. She wanted to take a picture together. So we did. She sent me the picture. When I looked at the picture, I thought, wow. From the posture, as we were standing next to each other, I would be naturally leaning forwards, making myself small, you see, crouching myself. And she would be the one who was straightened up, looking straight into the camera. I was embarrassed with myself, thinking, wow, you would never think I'm her coach. And I did it totally unconsciously. I'm playing small here. What's there more for me? So in every case, when I have moments like this, I reconnect with the potential. What I mean by that, we all know that which we could be, right? And we can't see it. It doesn't exist here and now, but we can all sense it. But we often don't activate it. We often rather stay a little comfortable, or later gator, I'll wait when conditions are better, when this works out, blah, 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 blah. So in every case, I'll go back to, what am I meant to do? What's my potential? Is showing me right now who I'm meant to be. And it's also showing me the path towards it through the meaning. What's the most meaningful thing to do right now?
I love that. That is such an important thing. And I've encountered that word commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's often been used as not being feminine and more masculine. So just do. What's your take on that?
Interesting. Certainly, I would say commitment does require to engage our masculine part, action, right? Action, taking things forward. But I don't necessarily think it's all of it. It's simply, I think it's about recognizing that it's important and it's necessary to step out of that which is orderly, predictable, known to us, and put ourselves out there, go out into the unknown, into the area of chaos, which is for our conscious mind is like, wow, it's scary. It's always scary. But to make that risk, whatever it means, increase the visibility, investments, connecting with people who you're looking up to. I don't know, whatever it means in terms of the strategy, but it's unknown. And for our lazy minds, it's scary. So I think it's not necessarily just masculine part, which I think it's part of it, but more as a commitment to that bigger part of you that is calling you rather than to your fears of the unknown.
Yeah. And those fears of the unknown, I know I was there, you were there, we all there, and we still are.
Yes.
And there's still a lot of moments, and it's the biggest step or leap. It's not even a step anymore. The biggest leap that you can take into that bigger vision, and even starting off small. When you go into that uncomfortable situation, in the beginning, it's like, no, I can't because I don't have $500 to invest or euros or whatever, or that person, I can't trust them because they're going to hurt me, or I couldn't possibly hire someone right now because I can do it on my own. I have the time to do this all now. And these are things that do hold us back. What is, I don't want to say a tip or a piece of advice or something, but what's that gentle nudge to commit to yourself to go, just do it? Because the consequences of that just do it may be failure, but it could also be success. What's that saying? What if I fall and I fail, but what if you fail and you fly or whatever?
Yes, I hear you. It's interesting. So my number one tip, I think, would be to be aware. What is it that you're actually saying in your mind? Because we often follow the voices that seem justifiable. Don't do it now. It's irresponsible. You can't do it now because you can't afford it. You can't do it now because you're not ready. So we often just hear it or say it to ourselves inside of our head, and that's it, done. But when we become aware of what is it that we're actually saying, we can look at it objectively. Is this really truth? Or is this actually just my ego or the part of my mind that is supposed to keep me small, safe, and therefore small? Is it that bit coming up? And I find that in 99.9 cases, it's that. If we're honest with ourselves, it's always some form of excuse. It's hard to admit, but it's always some form of excuse. Like with money, for instance. Say, I would love to hire someone, or I would love to do this or learn that, but I cannot afford it right now. I don't have the money. Money is a symbol of resourcefulness. It's not the resource itself.
That's good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know, for instance, in my very early stages of my business, I knew I needed help with finding my message. And I felt, and I was broke, and I couldn't afford really any courses, etc., etc. That's what I felt. But at one point, things got that bad that I had to admit to myself, you know what? I've got to find a way. And for that, I need to be a little bit more resourceful and a little bit more uncomfortable. So what I did, I went to people who run this type of courses, and I ate my humble pie, and I said, look, I'm not as successful as I might look, and I really need help. And I would love to do your course, but I can't. Is there any way I can help you? And you know what? This lady let me do her course.
Wow.
And I helped her with her fear of public speaking, which was big for her.
Wow.
And that course really was very important to me. It moved me forward back then. So it wasn't about money. It was about my willingness to ask, how can I make this happen? And get bloody uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable moment. Yeah, so I think it's more than that. Be aware of what is it that you're saying to yourself and be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I love that. It's just that leap, that commitment. And I said in the beginning, believing in yourself, which we do way too little. Growing up, you forget about it as kids. Kids just go, I want a chocolate or I want a cookie. And you're like, no, it's not dinner time. You can't have that. And you're like, I want the cookie now. And then you make it happen. You just make it happen. You don't accept no as an answer all the time.
Right.
You don't have to. And I want to come to something different. So just recently you ran your Extraordinary Live event in London, which was a great success. I was there as well. Share with us how your idea was born. Okay, I'm going to do an event in London with 100 women because I can. The steps to making it happen. What was planned? Were you able to stick to the plans? And what went off the bandwagon? And what were new things you learned about yourself and in your business through going off the bandwagon or going into a headspin or something?
Lots of questions there. Good.
Yeah.
So how the idea was born? Well, it was born last year, approximately 6 months before the actual event.
Cool.
By that point, I thought I'm doing a lot of online stuff. I have done a few one-day workshops for my one-day events for my Get Fully Booked Academy tribe. And I run, of course, 7-day NLP coaching accreditation courses. But I thought it would be really lovely to create extraordinary event full of women and just create something magical, spur the growth, help women to get their shit together, stop thinking small, equip them with skills and the right mindset. So it was born about 6 months ago prior to the event. And I was thinking, right, how am I going to do this? Am I going to do it in a little comfortable way? So maybe perhaps I could book something up to 50 people one day. Or do I want to stretch myself and create an epic event for 100 women in some luxurious venue in central London? And of course, when I asked myself what caused me more, even scares me more, was the second option. So I went for it, found venue, and it came with a commitment of £40,000.
Wow.
Now, it wasn't the biggest commitment, but it commitment all at one time, yes. So it was really scary. And that happened about 4 months before the event. They're doing it. So to be honest, I didn't give myself enough time. Okay. 4 freaking months to sell out the event. And you might know, listeners may not know, but the organizing the event and filling the event with gorgeous women, that was a hell of a lot of journey for me. Because first and foremost, I put the event out there, and I'm used to, when I put something out there, I'm used to selling out, right? As I done a good few launches. So I thought I'll put a great offer together. We'll make a around amazing event, and the tickets will be sold out in 1 week. If not, I'll sell at least 40 tickets in the first week, and that's it. We'll take it from there. So we sold 5 tickets week 1.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Panic.
Oh my, and I was panicking. Shit.
Cancel. What's the
It's going to be so embarrassing. Oh my goodness, my ego was having a real field day. But then I had to come back to my senses. I had to remind myself, woman, what you want wants you. So bloody relax. And in fact, one of my gorgeous friends told me, you've got to surrender like a kid, but don't surrender to like give up on it. Surrender to the desire.
Ooh.
And I think it's so surrender upwards. If something is calling you, surrender to it. You have no idea how it's going to work out. It's going to work out. And by hooks and crooks, it did. I mean, you've been there. It was phenomenal event.
Yes, it was.
And they'll still feel the ripple effect. I certainly do months on, what women go out and they create. So I'm certainly going to do it again. So it was one of those things that I perhaps brought something that would happen natural in a year or 2 years. I brought it forward. It was my form of leap. Bloody glad I did that because it just wouldn't scare me anymore. And a lot of good came out of it.
I love it. What is your take on law of attraction and manifesting, in inverted commas, abundance? It's like Yeah, abundance. I want to be abundant. This whole law of attraction and manifesting language is very strong online with the online community.
Yes.
A lot of people are talking about it. It's very spiritual online. A lot of
Mhm.
people are more open to. I've often, when I do branding or brand strategies and marketing strategies, management for my clients, and I meet them for the first time, they go, "This is the first time I feel like I'm coming out of the closet. Like I can
Yes.
really be myself and spiritual in this whole." And I'm going, "That's pretty cool, coming out of the closet." How did you get into this manifesting and law of attraction? Was it always with you, or did it come gradually as you came online? Was it there before with the NLP?
Uh-huh. Well, I learned first time about law of attraction, manifesting quantum physics as part of my NLP studies. So we had to do
Oh, okay.
quantum physics and things like that. And during the trainer's training, we were introduced to energy work. So we learned things such as manage the energy in the room and all sorts of stuff, how to help you to become the most powerful presenter. But as a part of that experience, it was quite funny. So one of the exercises was to create like an energy chi ball in the middle of the room, and it was about 50 of us. So we got in a circle, and the trainer guided us to focus with our intention to create the energy ball in the middle of the room. So mind you, at that time, I wasn't very open to these ideas at all. So everyone had their eyes closed, and I cheekily, opened my eyes, and I see this woman across the other part of the circle, her hand stretched like a witch, and she was like, "Bro!"
Oh my God.
And it scared the shit out of me. What's this? Is this energy work? This is spiritual. So I didn't have a really good start, right?
She's going to bewitch me. Oh my God.
But more I learned about it, and it's a fascinating subject, that quantum physics is really, really fascinating. I continue to learn about it. And then when I lost my business and I had to really reconnect with myself, I was hooked on everything that I could put my hands on when it comes to manifesting, law of attraction, quantum physics, energy work, to help myself. And how did it help me? Massively, massively. I was living and breathing these books and recordings massively. So as part of my business journey, really, I had that exact point when I used those words, came out of my spiritual closet. Because on one hand, I wanted to so come across quote unquote professional and credible. So I thought I cannot possibly talk about these things. But on the other, at nighttime, that's all I would do. Right?
This double life you live.
Right. Exactly. So one time I asked myself, if I didn't give a shit what people think about me, what would I want to put out there? And it was an amazing mixture of strategy and energy work. And I talk about it now freely because it matters. I'll give you one simple thing. Part of my energetic selling method, when lots of people complain, I keep attracting clients who can't afford me, right? And so we learn how to deal with "I can't afford you" objection. Okay. Then we learn how to really speak to your ideal clients. But not many people realize that actually, if that's a continual problem, that you're attracting people who can't afford you, and you keep getting this objection, you gotta start from you. Because your business is a reflection of your soul. It's a reflection of what's happening inside of you. And every sales conversation is a mirror of what's happening inside of you. So if you keep getting, "I can't afford you," you want to look at you first and foremost and ask yourself, am I honoring my needs? Am I a mirror reflection of a client that I'm looking to serve? Or am I putting things for later or putting myself second, not honoring myself? And I find that is a hard pill to swallow, but that it's number one reason for continual "I can't afford you" objections. And it's energy. It's energy.
I mean, it's the same when you go into a party and you walk in there and you're in a bad mood. You're just going to be in a bad mood with everyone.
Right.
But there'd be the realistic side that is just going, "Oh, you're just in a bad mood." But then there's the spiritual side and the realistic where it's like, where did that bad energy come from? And then are you bringing it into the room, and fire with fire is just going to make more fire.
Yes. So absolutely. So I have a real love relationship with all the manifesting energy stuff. The only slight problem I have, I think it's really easy to translate manifesting law of attraction energy work into, I'm just going to allow things coming to me. Let's just meditate for a little while longer here. And there's action is such an integral part. So thoughts, feelings, everything that you do inside of you is attracting those things that you want towards you. It's the action that translated into here and now.
Exactly.
It's action that is the real state of being. It's the action via which we change. It's the action via which we grow. So the people who switched on or in flow, as we say, when we're totally in flow with the universe, we're in the place of allowance, I know that we do probably 5 times more than people who are not. The difference is that it's fast, it's in flow, the ideas flow. You know what to write. You write where sometimes it would take 2 hours, you write it in 15 minutes because you're in flow. And that's the difference to me.
Yeah, and respecting that as well. Like when
That's
you're not in
right.
the flow, I don't really like using that flow because
I know
someone told me something one day and I was like, oh, actually that's true. They said even dead fish swim with the flow, and I was like, oh. I was like, I won't use that flow word anyway. But even the word attracting has got an element of speed and action in the word. So even attracting, you have to do something for it. So just sitting there, you can't attract anything. You can't, then you're just attracting dust.
The way I see it, I would a little redefine definition how I see it. When we talked about this potential, that it's always going, we all can say we're not living up to our full potential, of course, because more we grow, more of our potential reveals itself, right? Yeah. So that's evidence that it already exists at some level that is not perhaps accessible to us through our physical senses, but it's already existent on a vibrational level, right? So it's not as much that we're attracting it towards us, blah, 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 and making it happen for our action, but rather we are creating conditions for it to reveal itself.
Ooh, like that.
Right? It's like when the listeners will listen to this podcast, it was already created, it's already existent, but they still need to go and find that page or find that category on iTunes and press play. Yeah. So with their action, they're creating conditions for something already existent.
Yeah. And for something to happen in their lives, for something to manifest, for some, whether it's abundance of knowledge or whatever.
Absolutely.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So I have this thing about, a lot of people talk about your why. And for me, your why, me personally, your why has something, it drives your business. But my personal take on your why is that it's going to drain you eventually.
Oh, tell me about that.
It may give you some drive in the beginning. This is just my interpretation.
Right.
But then it's going to suck you dry. For example, when you mentioned you went to the ATM and you had £7, £7.50.
Yes.
Yeah. Your drive was, I need money to put food on the table.
Yes.
That was your drive. So you were driven by, inverted commas, money.
Yes.
When you reach the money, or when the money comes, that drive is either with you, still staying with you, like when you triggered with your father, when he was saying, where you felt he was saying you're not good enough, but actually he was asking, it was a rhetorical question, do you think you're good enough?
Right.
So that why pushes you, and you either take it and go, this is what's always going to push me.
Yes.
That sucks you dry. Or you come to a point and go, maybe this isn't my why. What else is my why? What is your take on a why?
I loved it. I love it. So I think it depends whether your why is towards something or away from something. So you're quite right. When I was struggling financially, part of my why was, I hate this shit. I don't like to be broke. I want to get away from it. Now, just like you said, it can serve temporarily, but once you get away from it far enough and you're comfortable, then what often happens, we're creating this yo-yo effect. This is why so many entrepreneurs has got this feast and famine cycle, right? Because you need to get back to the source of motivation, lack of something, in order to be driven to get away from it. So I think the answer is to reconnect with the deeper why, which is always towards driven. So towards, if you go deeper into your why, it's part of it may be, money, but it's more impact, more money. Soul always wants to expand and grow. Universe wants to expand and grow through us. So it's always growth driven. I want to make more impact. I want to experience more freedom. I want to become bigger person. So I think as long as we turn towards that which drives us rather than away from that which we don't want, it's never ending.
I love that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I think you also like that, huh? Those listening, I love that. So we're nearing the end, and I have still so many questions, but anyway, so I'm just going to get to one more thing. So one thing I speak a lot about is passion. I even have it tattooed on my back.
Oh.
And it's like big passion. Many are eager to find their passion. They want to turn their passion into profits. And for me, passion is evolving. So what you start off with in your business today will evolve with your passion and craft mastering over the years, especially if you're consistent and ambitious enough with it. You started off with selling, moved to NLP, first business, second business, LENKA LUTONSKA Empire. Where is the passion? Where's the empire evolving and moving on to next? Where's it going?
I'm feeling it's going more general. In terms of, at the moment, I work with women coaches and change makers. I'm feeling I will go more general in terms of not only coaches and change makers, businesses, entrepreneur, and possibly not even men too. So I'm feeling to go bigger. I don't even know what the message is at a bigger level. You see, I can't see that far, but that's as far as I can tell you, Sash. I just know, I know what's ahead of me, maybe a year ahead, 18 months ahead. And I'll just continue recommitting to follow that meaning, to continue working on my growth and spurring other people's growth. And where it will take, that's as far as I can tell you.
It is written in the stars. It is going
that's right.
with the galaxy and the universe. That's lovely. So I ask all my guests the same question at the end. How do you want to change the world or challenge the world doing what you do?
Commit to that which you can be more than to the BS in your mind.
Love that. Yes, because there's a lot of BS that happens in the mind.
Because when you do that, quantum leaps given, growth given, manifested desires, as we say, given. I
love that. I'd like for you to fill in the blanks for 3 of my values. So what they might mean for you, might mean for you. So creativity for you is?
Love.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. I haven't heard that one before. That's nice. Passion for you is?
Driver.
Wisdom for you is?
It's like a well that is never, you can't exhaust it.
I love it. Yes, I love that. That's gorgeous. Lenka, thank you so much for being with us here today and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and being the mover and shaker that you are, and honoring your life purpose, your why, your passion, and impacting, at the moment, women, but very soon the broader universe, whether it be children, men, doesn't matter, whatever business you in, might not even be a business. Thank you for honoring what you do and for expanding every day more and more. You're an inspiration to your kids and to your husband, immediate family, and to us that are outside of the family. And you'll find out more about Lenka in all the show notes, her favorite book, her favorite quote. You'll also find it on social media handles and some of her freebies that she's got, some lead magnets. She has got the best free lead magnets. That's all I can say. Like when Lenka puts something out, it's top-notch quality. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And we'll probably hear from you and see from you, hear more, see whatever, very soon, whether it's viral or we'll just attend one of your events as well. We're looking forward to the next one.
You bet. I'm so looking forward to it.
Thank you, Lenka.
Much love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.